Greetings, alumni. Welcome to class. My name is Benjamin Ayres. This is the Professor's Lounge. You're the alumni at Romance University. I'm just going to jump right in. You may have noticed I lost the mic. It didn't sound that good. This just sounds better. So that's something I'm learning as we continue to do this. I don't know. Agree? Let me know in the comments below if it sounds better now. I'm starting to lose a bit of the I almost felt like it was too polished before. Now I'm finding the chef's kiss. I think this is number 15 or 14. It might be 15, you guys. That's amazing. I'm going to jump right in. This comes from Nicole. She says, what if an actor has a tattoo? Is that covered up by makeup, or is the actor just placed in long sleeves or pants? Yeah, they cover it up. In fact, I'm shooting a project now, and I was watching them cover up a tattoo on the actor. So they ask you before you arrive, do you have any tattoos that they need to be worried about? So you're not going to find many actors with tattoos on their face or their neck. Sometimes they'll have little ones on their hands or their wrist or something like that. And yeah, they cover them up. It would be a real pain if you had a lot of tattoos and you're walking around, let's say, without a shirt. That doesn't happen often in Hallmark, but just in general, it's a lot of work to go in and cover them up. Great question. Thank you very much. This question comes from Tracy Dalton. Hey, Tracy. At this point, birthday month, at this point in your career, what would be your dream come true project? Great question. I think my dream come true project would be one that I created. I have been working tirelessly at a few projects, and it is a lot of work and it's very difficult to get them off the ground, but I keep trying. And I have faith that they will eventually get made. And if not, it won't be from not trying really hard. So thank you for that. Next question. Steph. Thank you, Steph. This is a good one. Okay, you ready? First, thank you for doing these. You're welcome. They've been very informative. Oh, thank you. My questions are simple, really, but something I've wondered. You say it takes 15 days to film a Hallmark movie. I've seen some posts where you're working in the middle of the night sometimes, so I assume the days are very long. Do you work 15 days straight, or is it a Monday to Friday schedule? And do you have any time to really rest in that time frame, or are you constantly busy? And do you always work late into the night, early morning? Thank you. With a little heart at the end. They're 15-day shoots. Now, 15 days are 15 working days. So Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, weekends off. Unless there's a holiday in there, then you'll go a Tuesday to the following Monday. The odd time you will work on a Saturday, depending on your locations. For example, in the Santa class, we had to film at a mall. Now, we couldn't film at a mall on a Friday because it was busy and open late. So we filmed on a Saturday. We were able to get it at, No, that one in particular, we started late Friday night and we shot till 6 a.m. Saturday. So sometimes you will work overnight, depending on your location. Sometimes you will see us filming at night because the scene takes place at night. If the scene takes place at night, they tend to shoot those later in the week because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are usually very early mornings. You're usually working 12 hours with a 1 hour lunch in Ontario. BC's a half-hour lunch. So you will work, you will come in an hour before, hair, makeup, you'll do a rehearsal, you'll have breakfast, and then you'll be ready to start shooting. And then as the week goes on, inevitably your schedule gets pushed a bit. So usually by Thursday or Friday, you will start a bit later, maybe 10 in the morning. And then or if you're going to be doing a night shoot, you won't start till noon or 1 o'clock. And if it's a full night shoot, those vampire series, those guys were getting called at 5 p.m. and working all night. That's a very difficult schedule, So your schedule is based around your locations of where the movie takes place. So if you're watching a movie, and so for example, let's go back to the Santa class because it's the last movie I just did. If you take a look at everything that took place out at the Santa school, we filmed all of that from a Monday to a Friday at a YMCA up in Gibson's, the Sunshine Coast of Vancouver. So we took a ferry up there, and those first 5 days we shot all of the exteriors and all of the interiors that took place at the Santa school. So you work around the locations. Do you get days off and time off? Yes, especially the guy, because the guy's the number one, the female lead. I'm talking Hallmark movies. They're pretty much in every scene. So of those 15 days, they are working what's called 15 out of 15. The number twos, I always joke, it's the best gig because sometimes it's on a low end, 10 out of 15, usually 11 or 12 out of 15. So that means I'll have a couple days off. And with those days off, I go golfing. I go see my brother, or I prep, or it depends on kind of the weather, what's going on, and what my next day will look like. And you're not always in all day. So if you're watching a movie and you see an actor who's essentially in every scene, then they will be there all the time. For the men, they're usually not even introduced until the first, 10 minutes of the movie. And then, it kind of cuts their in and out. So some days you'll come in. And again, the entire movie's shot out of sequence. It can be very confusing when you look at it. So as far as preparation goes, you don't memorize the whole script. You don't have time to memorize the entire script before you begin filming. But you read it a lot and you familiarize yourself with the arc, because inevitably you're going to be starting with this scene and you're like, okay, where's my character at this point? And you haven't even filmed all this stuff yet to know where you're going to get to. And most actors will tell you they feel like they don't start getting in the groove of it all until the second week, maybe the end of the first week. And oftentimes you'll be at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, now I get it. You just have to trust the edit. But oftentimes you'll feel like, I have no idea what happened in that scene. I don't know if that was good, if that worked, was it too big? It's a huge puzzle, and you can really get in your head about choices that you've made and choices that you're making. So you really have to trust your director. And yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and it can be very confusing. But I tend to have my first week of dialogue memorized before I start. So the nerves are up, there's a lot going on, all the distractions, you're trying to figure out your character, you're making some choices. You don't want to be concerned about your lines. So that first week, off book, you're ready to go, you're running lines with your partner. And then that first weekend, you take that weekend to start preparing the second week. And then you start reading it, you're like, oh, coming out of that scene, that makes sense because I did this. And then you start thinking about the scenes you've already filmed and how that now starts to play out throughout the movie. It's complicated stuff, real complicated stuff. And there's a lot of continuity. We talked about continuity before. You'll film a scene where, you're on the phone and you're talking. I notice this all the time. I notice it with men's facial hair and the length of their hair. I never try to cut my hair too short where you can see skin, because if so, on the sides, you would have to cut your hair every single day, and that's just a real pain in the butt. So, but I noticed, let's say in Santa Tell Me, for me, I think it was over 10 days I shot that. And I didn't know I was getting that role until like a few days before. So when I arrived, my sides were much shorter than I would have had I known I was about to go film something. And that coffee shop scene, my sides are quite short. Later in the film, it's a lot longer because we didn't cut it to the same length. But you could also argue that, a character's hair changes over the course of a movie, right? But yeah, that type of continuity. So like I said, you can be on the phone, you're inside your house, you have this house, let's say this location for 4 days. But the exterior of the house, they use a completely different house. Not always, but I'm saying this as an example. So you're inside the house, you shoot this on day one. You're on the phone, you're talking. You go to open the door and you walk out. That's all they film. Now they pick up the other side of it with you on the phone on the third week. And you're like, wait, what did I do? What year was it on? Right. And then you just continue walking out the door and then you go get in your car. So those are done completely different weeks, which is hard to get your head around. But it's fun. Great questions. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Comment below. Let me know if we're enjoying this. Class is dismissed.